All right, good evening, everyone. We will get this meeting of the November 16th meeting of the NCH City Council started. We will start with our prayer for the City Council. God our Father, we are all your servants. We trust in your mercy and love. We trust also in your guidance. Direct the meetings of this council of North College Hill to make good decisions for all the people who live in our city. Give all the members of this council wisdom and insight to know what is best for our city. Help us to be fair and just in all our decisions. Bless us all to do the very best we can. With your help and guidance, we pray this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Call this meeting to order. Share my screen. Pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Sorry, my window shrunk down on me. All right. All right, should be good to go now. All right, Ms. Dewald, please call the roll.
Miss Bailey. Miss Blythe.
Here.
Miss Underwood.
Here.
Mr. Miller Novak.
Here.
Miss Zorb.
Here.
Miss Hartman. And Miss Anderson.
Here. Mr. President,
Ms. Underwood.
I would like to make a motion to excuse Miss Bailey and Miss Hartman from tonight's meeting.
Mr. President, I'll second that motion.
Thank you, Ms. Anderson. Motion from Ms. Underwood, second by Ms. Anderson, to excuse Ms. Bailey and Ms. Hartman from tonight's meeting. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Miss Blythe.
Yes.
Miss Underwood.
Yes.
Mr. Miller Novak.
Yes.
Miss Zorb.
Yes.
Miss Anderson.
Yes.
Motion to excuse passes 5-0.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, you have tonight's agenda.
Mr. President,
Ms. Underwood.
I have a question about the agenda. Do I have to wait until we do the motion first?
No, you can ask a question now.
I'm just wondering, I don't know what ordinance 12-2020 is.
Mr. President,
Ms. Dewald.
I put hard copies in the mailbox this Friday evening. So there's hard copies in there, but this is transferring. So the court clerk normally comes out of the police budget, and this is going to move her to come out of the general fund instead.
Is that for this year or for next year?
Effective January 1st, 2021.
So is that amending the salary ordinance that we just passed?
I do not believe it makes a change to the salary ordinance.
Did this go through any committee?
I am not aware that it went through a committee.
Okay, go ahead.
Ms. Zorb.
So, Ms. Underwood, I'd like to point out that you did receive a copy of that on back on November the 12th in an email. There is a copy in that email. If you wanted to look at it now, it's the last one in the string, so you might not have seen it right away.
Actually, I've read it. I have it right here on my screen.
All right.
I just wanted to know for procedure's sake, like I have a procedural question. I'm not attacking anybody just in case anybody thinks that. I just have a procedural question because, sometimes we're about the rules and sometimes we're not. So Rule
Well,
7.9 says the
I'll-
presiding officer shall assign all legislative matters to the appropriate committee for consideration prior to introduction to the council agenda. I just had questions with regard to what it was and what it meant. That's all. No, I'm not attacking. I just had questions. That's all. Just questions. I'm good.
So I am not. So I would like to make a motion to remove ordinance 2020-12 from the agenda and move it to the finance committee.
Mr. President,
Madam Mayor,
just so it's noted, this piece of legislation was initially sent to the clerk and you, Mr. President, by Mr. Mosby on November 6th. So I'm not sure who initiated to have it put on the agenda for this evening. If there was another email, and I apologize if I'm not seeing it, but I know initially it was sent to the president of council and the clerk of council on November 6th. I'm assuming to be put into a committee.
yes, I do see that email. I did not point it to any committee or have it put on tonight's agenda, I don't believe.
Mr. President,
Yes, ma'am.
that would be my error. I realize after reading it now that I certainly did misunderstand the message there. So that can easily be removed. I mean, yes, you're right, Miss Underwood. There was no procedural anything taking place. I was testing you. No, my apologies. That's my fault.
All right, so we have the motion from Ms. Zorb to remove it from tonight's agenda.
Mr. President, I'll second that motion.
Any discussion?
Mr. President, I would like to add that I did have a second piece to that motion, and that was to move it to finance.
Oh,
I do
and
that-
yes,
I do
I'm sorry.
that in one fell swoop, or do I have to have two motions?
Nope, that's fine. I just didn't finish writing it out.
All right.
All right, so the motion is to remove ordinance 12-2020 from tonight's agenda and move it to finance committee. Any other
Oh.
discussion?
I'll second her motion. I thought that's
Okay.
okay.
Thank you. All right, please call the roll, Ms. Debo.
Miss Blythe,
Yes.
Miss Underwood,
Yes.
Mr. Miller Novak,
Yes.
Miss Zorb,
Yes.
and Miss Anderson.
Yes.
Motion to remove from the agenda and move to finance passes 5-0.
So, Miss Underwood, I'm feeling a little hypocritical at the moment. And I don't even know if it's worth mentioning, but I read on the Ohio Municipal League's website that our, Governor DeWine's extension to allow us to meet virtually expires December 1st,
Yes.
which would mean we would not have any more council meetings in this fashion.
I understand. I do. I'm aware of that.
Okay, so with that in mind, also on the Ohio Municipal League's website, there was an example of of a resolution that could be sent to Governor DeWine, taking into consideration that we are super high, almost ready to turn purple, we're red, and the numbers are astronomical right now, and asking him to please extend that deadline. I have that written up, but it would have to be passed tonight, and we don't have enough people to do that. So it would have to be added to the agenda and then passed. And we don't have enough people to do that. So I don't know if it's worth even going through the exercise of adding it to the agenda if it cannot be.
Mr. President,
Ms. DeWolf.
can we add it to the agenda just to get the first reading out of the way?
Mr. President,
Ms. Underwood.
I understand the urgency of that motion because I'm aware that I think I mentioned that a few months ago, that it was coming up for expiration. I thought it expired at the end of December though, so I was mistaken about that. I did know that those, but again, that rule, I just, I'm gonna hold everybody's feet to the same fire.
I understand.
So if we want to have a special meeting so that we can, a special committee meeting. I have two committees that I sit chair of, and I can certainly call a special committee meeting, and we can go back through committee and then have us, we can get it done. I think we can get it done this week so that we can send it if that's what we need to do. So I think that I just want us to follow the rules because I want to hold everybody's feet to the same fire, if that makes sense.
Absolutely, which is why I mentioned it the way I did.
So how about we work on that through, because you and I are both on all four committees. So how about I just try to figure out how to have a special committee meeting, get it through committee, and then try to have a special council meeting and make sure we can get everybody there and pass it as an emergency and send it up there to them. Because otherwise, you're right. I think we have to show up in council chambers first
At our
Monday in
next meeting.
December.
Yes.
Right.
That work for you, Ms. Zorb?
It does. It does. With all
okay.
of- I was
Go ahead.
gonna say, Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to accept the agenda as amended.
Mr. President, I'll second that motion.
Motion for Ms. Zorb, second for Ms. Underwood to adopt tonight's agenda as amended. Any discussion? Ms. DeWolf, please call the roll.
Ms. Blythe,
Yes.
Ms. Underwood,
Yes.
Mr. Miller Novak.
Yeah.
Ms. Zorb,
Yes.
Ms. Anderson.
Yes.
Motion to accept the agenda as amended passes 5-0. Mr. Miller Novak, you do realize that eventually I'm going to be calling you Miss because you're the only Mister.
Okay.
It's hard to get Mister out now.
That's all right. I called Mike Mrs. President for like the first
Yeah,
10
yeah.
meetings.
You had to bring that back up.
Right.
All right. You also have meeting minutes from council meetings that occurred on 10/27, 11/2, and 11/4.
Mr. President,
Ms. Underwood.
on page 3, I think there's I think it's a typo. I think it's supposed to be Ms. Zorb did participate, but it's Miss Orb did. Like
Page 3
Orb
of
did
which
is her
one?
name. Huh?
Page
Oh.
3.
The virtual council meeting minutes,
What's the date?
11/2.
On page 3.
Yep. Kind of at the bottom. I think under call of members.
Oh, Oh, Miss Orr did.
Yes, Miss Orb.
It looks like that's a last name, like that's somebody's name, like Miss Orbit.
Amended made.
Am I allowed to make corrections?
Of course.
On page 1 of the October 27th, down at the bottom, discussions, Ms. Zorb inquires about 2 officers possibly retiring in 2021. There's an extra 1 in there.
I'm sorry, I've got to catch up.
10/27 meeting.
Okay, the new police nope, not that one.
Down at the bottom in police department discussions, the 3rd bullet, Ms. Zorb inquires about 2 officers possibly retiring in 2021.
Okay,
Unless you've corrected it, my copy says 201201 or 21.
oh, well, look at that.
That's starting to get a complex.
Man,
Yes, Miss Orb was talking about 20121.
so I have now amended that to say 2021.
I don't think we have to motion for typos, do we?
I do not believe so. But somebody smarter than me is on here that could say yes or no.
I don't know about smarter, but I'm gonna say no. We can't, we don't have to. Mr. President, I'd like to accept the minutes as presented.
Mr. President, I'll second that motion.
All right, so motion to adopt the minutes from 10/27, 11/2, and 11/4/2020 by Ms. Zorb, second by Ms. Underwood. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Miss Blythe,
Yes.
Miss Underwood,
Yes.
Mr. Miller Novak,
Yes.
Miss Zorb,
Yes.
Miss Anderson.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. Any communications, Ms. DeWolf?
No,
All right, that'll bring us to committees, budget and finance.
Mr. President,
Ms. Underwood?
they've changed their meeting to the committee of the whole meeting.
Their next meeting won't be till December, correct?
That's correct.
It would be December 14th. All right, city and community development and recreation.
Mr. President,
Ms. Underwood?
I'm not the chair, but I am on that committee as well. And that committee also gave up its time for the committee of the whole meeting.
And its next meeting will be on December 14th.
That is correct.
Thank you. Public safety.
We have not met since our last council meeting, and our next public safety meeting, is that the one you asked about?
Yes,
Is
ma'am.
on, looking at my calendar here, sorry. Whatever the 4th Monday is.
11/23.
That is correct. Yes, 11/23.
All right, thank you.
Mr. President,
Ms. Blythe?
I'd like to know, Erica, what time is the public safety meeting on November 23rd.
The public safety meeting is at 7:30. Rules and public policy is at 6:30.
Public safety is 7:30. Okay,
Yes.
and 6:30. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so safe to say rules and public policy, same as public safety. Next meeting is at 6:30 on 11/23/2020.
That's correct, Your Honor. Your Honor.
Your Honor. That's a new one. Now I gotta go get my gavel.
Mr. President.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Uh,
All right, are there any ad hoc reports? All right, I hear no reports. I will move us on to the administrative reports, starting off with Madam Mayor, Ms. Nichols.
Good evening. I just had two quick things. The first thing is on the 12th, I sent a letter to each member of council, to the administration, and to the president of council. I vetoed a section of the pay ordinance that was passed on November 2nd, primarily the section that pertains to the recreation director. I would ask council if they would reconsider and change the position, leave the position as it is, and to just zero it out, the dollar amount, if that's what you so choose to do. Because as it reads, as I stated in my letter, in my opinion, it creates a position. The position is already there as a finance director. And generally, council adds the salaries. So it does not have a salary in there. And in the past, if you were depleting a dollar amount, it would just be zeroed out.
Can I clarify something? I believe you said finance director, but you mean recreation
I meant
director.
recreation.
Correct?
I'm sorry. I do apologize.
Thank you.
Recreation. Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. President, I'd like to point out that the document that you emailed to us does say finance director.
Oh, does it?
In the body, it says recreation, and in the line, it says finance director.
Well, that would be my mistake, but it is the recreation director. And I do apologize. So the section, it should have been the recreation section of that ordinance where it pertains only to the recreation director, not the finance director. The second thing that I had was just to remind everybody of the Christmas tree lighting on the 28th at, I guess it just depends on what time dusk is. I mean, I don't know, 5:15, 5:30 at the Perkins. That's assuming that everything isn't shut down by then. So, but as of right now, it's still a go. That's all I have. Mr.
Madam President,
Yes, Ms.
Could-
DeWalt.
could you repeat the date for the tree lighting?
It's Saturday, November 28th.
Okay. Thank you.
Any questions for the mayor?
President.
Ms. Orr.
So I guess I'm a little confused about what a veto does to one line item of an ordinance. And I mean, obviously, for those that are new to council, you can read section 9.10 of the charter, and that refers to the mayor's veto, and that's where she gets the authority to veto this. But I guess, so council has the opportunity to override the veto also. But I guess
Yeah.
I'm confused if council, I mean, if by some chance council does nothing, it's just vetoed and that line is not even in the salary ordinance?
Oh, it's still there. If council does nothing, I believe in 10 days, it's, yeah, it's active. I have 10 days to veto. Then I believe, according to the charter, council has 10 days to act upon it. And if they don't, it will go into effect as if it wasn't vetoed.
See, I don't read it that way. I read it that after 10 days, council may reconsider it and such ordinance or resolution or upon, and such reconsideration is approved by 2/3 votes of all members elected, then it shall be, then it shall then take effect as if signed by the mayor. So the way I interpret that is if we do nothing, that line is wiped out of completely.
Mr. President,
Ms. Underwood.
I mean, that's just like a line item veto for any, and the power that any legislator or person of the legislative branch would have. So like the president, the governor, mayor, they all, they can veto a line item. It just goes back to its original form. It doesn't, like, in order for us to override the veto, to put it back, we would need 2/3 of us to vote on that, to override the veto.
And then if you don't, then it goes back as if, like I said, if I hadn't vetoed, because
Right.
you didn't make any changes.
Well, not like, no, it goes back to if we hadn't tried to change it. Not like if you hadn't vetoed. Does that make sense?
Well, when I
Like your
say that, I
veto would
mean,
go into effect. If we do nothing, the veto goes into effect.
so, I'm sorry, I don't have my glasses, but I'm reading. The mayor may approve or disapprove the whole or any item of the ordinance or resolution appropriating money. If he or she does not return such ordinance or resolution, I'm missing a page. Within the time specified in this section, it shall take effect in the same manner. Okay, so that's if I hadn't signed it, I didn't sign it.
Right.
10 days for council to reconsider it. And if such ordinance or resolution or item upon such reconsideration is approved by 2/3 vote of the members elected, it shall then take effect as if it was signed by the mayor. Okay.
Any other questions? All right. We'll move on to city administrator's report. Unfortunately, Mr. Mosby cannot be with us tonight. Next next item on the agenda is the law director's report. Mr. Dieters is not with us, so that would bring us up to the finance director. I believe Ms. Hall is on here.
Good evening, I'm here, but I do not have a report prepared.
Thank you. All right, call of members. Ms. Blythe.
No comments.
Thank you. Ms. Underwood.
I have nothing well, actually, just look for a few emails or calls or however you guys prefer to be contacted from me about trying to figure out this, our virtual meetings schedule this week, so we can try to get that resolved and done. Other than that, I hope everybody's staying healthy and staying safe. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Ms. Underwood. Mr. Miller Novak.
I have nothing.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Zorb.
I have nothing.
Thank you, Ms. Zorb. Ms. Anderson.
I don't have anything either. Just happy Thanksgiving if I don't talk to any of you guys until then.
If Ms. Underwood has anything to do with it, that's not going to be the case.
I was just about to say, are you saying you're not going to answer me, Miss Anderson?
I will. Okay, so everybody except for Miss Underwood, happy Thanksgiving.
Excellent. All right, thank you. All right, that'll move us to legislation. Ms. Dewald.
Wait a minute. Paper always gets shuffled away so quickly. So we removed ordinance 12,
Yes, ma'am.
and that leaves us with resolution 17. It's a resolution declaring it necessary to levy a tax in excess of the 10 mil limitation and requesting the county auditor to certify to matters in connection therewith and declaring an emergency.
And that is a second reading, correct?
Second reading, yes.
All right, thank you, Ms. Dewald.
Mhm.
That takes us to comments from the audience. I see no audience participants. Any old business?
Mr. President,
Ms. Zorb.
I realize that the city administrator is not here, but I'd like to know what the status is of that TV purchase.
Mr. President,
Can I say bird dog alert?
you can.
Ms. Nichols.
I do know the last conversation I had with him, he was supposed to be purchasing it. I know he was looking into different pricing. I can say I'm not sure because we didn't have that conversation in the last week. Ms. Hall, are you aware if he's purchased it or not?
My understanding is that either the television has been purchased and we're awaiting delivery, or we're awaiting a quote. I'm not 100% sure which one it is, but I know that it has been selected and I'm not sure when we'll be seeing it. So I can find out.
Ms. Zorb, did you have the offline conversation with him after the last meeting that we talked about that? I believe you and he were going to have a conversation.
That glazed over look means no, I don't recall that I was supposed to.
Okay.
On me.
All right. I'll also make sure to follow up with Mr. Mosby. So. Any other old business?
Mr. President,
Ms. Underwood?
I have a question for Ms. Hall. I was just wondering if at our committee of the whole meeting, she mentioned that she was going to speak to the chiefs and to resolve whatever issue there was. I just want to know if that issue was resolved.
The nature of the meeting was to go over the budget with them to make sure that it met their needs and, included the necessary equipment and staffing levels for 2021. I wanted their approval on those items before presenting them to council. And they were in agreement with the items that are in the budget. So
Thank you.
Any other old business? All right, we'll turn to new business.
Mr. President,
Ms. Zorb?
I'm curious if Ms. Underwood would like to establish that time now for the meeting. It might be quicker.
Oh, sure. I think we'll, let me see.
And I may have overspoke. It would depend on which committee meeting you wanted to discuss it in and if there's enough people.
We can do public safety.
It fits public safety in my book.
Yeah, we can do public safety.
Okay.
And I think we have enough members. So it's, I think all the members actually are here except for Ms. Hartman. So it's you and me and Ms. Blythe and Mr. Novak. So if we could maybe have a meeting either tomorrow or Wednesday, that would be probably the, I'm good anytime after 6 and it would just be just for that singular purpose, just to take that piece of legislation through committee and then send it back out to council.
Mr. President,
Ms. Anderson?
I'd prefer Wednesday if that's okay.
Okay, now Ms. Anderson, that's just the committee meeting. I wouldn't be.
Okay. Sorry, I thought you were wanting to do a committee of the whole.
No,
in
just
the time.
it would be just the public safety committee first. And then we would do a regular council meeting to discuss the piece of legislation. And then it would have to be, I guess, an emergency. We would have to pass it as an emergency so we could get it sent to wherever we need to get it sent to. So because it has to go through a committee first, I'm just trying to, I think public safety is the best. I'm just hoping that we can maybe either tomorrow or Wednesday and I believe a committee chair can, I think as committee chair, I can schedule a special meeting of the committee. I think pursuant to the rules. I'll look at the rule again. I think that's what I think I can do that. Mr. Miller Novak,
Yes.
can I do that?
A committee is no different than, it's a public body. All the responsibilities for all the public bodies are the same. So a committee operates the same way as the council. Special meeting notice 24 hours in advance, make sure that the special meeting has the topics that are going to be discussed, and we have to remain on those topics. So you do want to have a more robust agenda in that regard.
Okay, so how about we check for availability on Wednesdays to make sure we can do the 24 hours notice. So Mr. Miller Novak, Ms. Blythe, are you guys available on Wednesday, the 18th at 6 or 6:30? Ms. Zorb as well, I'm sorry.
Well,
6:30 is good.
6:30.
I'm sorry, what did you say, Mr. Miller Novak?
Did you say 6:30 p.m.
Yes.
Wednesday?
6:30 on Wednesday.
I will try to fit that into my busy schedule, social distancing in the evening.
Thank you.
So I believe all your members
President.
at that time.
Mr. President,
Ms. DeWald.
according to the council rules, the special meetings can be called by the mayor or any 3 members, which we've qualified for all that. It only needs a 12-hour written notice. It doesn't say anything about a verbal notice.
No, but
But
that's That's council. This is a committee.
Oh, you're right. Sorry. There
So-
you go, paying attention again.
So by picking
Never
the
mind.
Wednesday date, then we don't have to worry about timing. We're going to be more than good on time.
You're right.
That gives Ms. Zorb time to work with ICRC to get a Zoom meeting.
Thank
Right, and we still need to post the meeting notice in the 2 locations, like on the website and on the administrative building.
I'll work on that tomorrow, Mr. Miller Novak.
And again, because it's a special meeting, you have to have the agenda that specifically calls out what you're discussing.
Mr. President,
Ms. Zorb,
at the risk of being presumptuous, would it be all right if we tried to schedule a special council meeting at the same time so that we can meet the 24-hour notice? And maybe not be rushed to hurry up and scramble and do everything?
I'd be fine with that. It would have to be after the committee meeting.
Yeah, so say 7:30.
I'm okay with that. Is everybody else okay with that?
How long do you think, I jumped to conclusions. How long do you think the meeting will last, Ms. Underwood?
I would think no longer than 30 minutes.
So we could say 7 o'clock.
We could say 7 o'clock.
Would everyone have time to meet on Wednesday at 7 o'clock for a special council?
Ms. Anderson is nodding in agreement. Ms. Blythe is nodding in agreement. Mr. Miller Novak's got to check his tight social distancing evenings calendar.
I can't see his head nodding.
I was going to have a celebration where I celebrated finishing the committee meeting, but I could hold that off for a little bit longer.
I can make that time as well. So I will send out an email to the remainder of council in regards to the 7 o'clock meeting.
It sure
So-
would be nice to have 6 people.
And then obviously Ms. Dewald will work on the posting part.
Well, there's an issue here because according to the special council meeting that we are now talking about a special council meeting, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay, and it says that each member, including it, the people that call it have to sign. Remember how we used to sign that stuff, Mary Jo and Matt? So we need 3 signatures on that notice for the council meeting, the special
Oh.
council meeting.
Ms. Zorb can email it to me, I'll sign it, and then I can email it to somebody else who'll sign it, and then they can email it to you. No problem, no biggie.
Good deal. And then all
And I
I
only
need to
said
do,
Ms. Zorb because I know she has all those forms.
so, and then again, this does not need to be placed at the residence, so no vote needs to be taken about that. So we're good with just emailing people.
Yes.
And then I do need to clarify the time of the committee meeting,
6:30.
6:30. And these are all taking place on Wednesday, correct?
Yes. The 18th.
Thank you.
So Ms. Zorb, you'll have 2 separate meetings.
Maybe not. I don't know. We'll wing it.
I mean, if it's just the one, I don't see a problem with that. I just wanted to clarify. So that committee, if we only use the one, then that committee meeting link needs to go out to everybody.
Yes,
Okay.
but don't sign in until 7 or join the meeting.
Or join the meeting.
There you go.
All right. Any other new business?
Mr. President, I just had a question.
Yes, Ms. Nichols.
This is for anyone who's on the actual finance committee. Has there been any discussion about when you're going to discuss the last budget that Ms. Hall sent out. As we are quickly and fastly approaching December. I know finance gave up their time. They had a committee meeting and the next one is not until December. I know with the holiday next week, it makes it really hard for everybody. So I just was wondering if there was any discussion about when you would actually have that meeting. Probably not.
Mr. President,
Ms. Zorb.
Ms. Bailey is the chair of that committee, and she is obviously not here tonight. I am the vice chair, so I will, I'll contact her and see if she had anything in mind. And either her or myself will send an email to see. After we talk, we'll figure something out. I don't know.
Okay, thank you.
Read your email. That's what I can. That's all I can say at this point because I don't know. Actually, to follow up with that, Ms. Hall, could we get the cleanup ordinance in time for the first finance meeting, the regularly scheduled finance committee meeting?
Yes.
Thank you.
Any other new business?
Yeah, I had a question. I don't know if it's allowed, but it's regarding the roads levy. Is that a good time to ask?
Yep. What is your question?
I see that it expires. So what will we be doing in that regard to get a new one on the ballot? What do we need to do?
So the second reading of Resolution 17, 2020 tonight that's the first step in that process.
Okay.
So the first step is to get this resolution passed and then get that to the county auditor to start making tax determinations. The certification. Ms. Blythe, you muted yourself.
I can't hear you.
You're on mute, Ms. Blythe.
Will we have the same 10 mil or do we need to get a different one on the ballot? Are we going to discuss that?
So the current levy is not a 10 mil, it is a 4.2. Is that right? 4.5? It's 8?
It's a 4.8.
4.8. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
You're scaring me there, Mary Jo. It's a 4.8 levy.
Okay.
And what we are looking at is a renewal of that levy.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
Sorry for the bad hand signs.
All right, if there's no other new business, we have one last item.
Mr. President,
Ms. Zorb.
if there's no other new business, I'd like to make a motion that we adjourn.
Mr. President,
Ms. Underwood,
when you said there's one last item, what did you mean?
the adjournment.
Oh, okay, I'll second that.
Well, I felt like maybe y'all needed prodded tonight. Normally Mary Jo takes care of that. All right, motion from Ms. Zorb to adjourn tonight's meeting, second by Ms. Underwood. Please call the roll, Ms. Gewalt.
Ms. Blythe,
Yes.
Ms. Underwood,
Yes.
Mr. Miller Novak,
Yes.
Ms. Zorb,
Yes.
Ms. Anderson.
Yes.
Motion to adjourn passes 5-0.
All right, thank you, ma'am. This meeting is adjourned. Have a good evening, everyone.
Good
Night.
evening.
Good night.
Bye.
Thank you, Drew.
Mike, I'm waiting for you to pull out your gavel